So, willkommen zurück. Wir sind immer noch in der Kapelle. Bevor wir jetzt hier mit den nächsten Dudes reden, mit unserem ehemaligen Meister, mit dem Großmeister, werde ich mich hier noch mal kurz umsehen, ob hier vielleicht noch irgendwas zum Looten ist. Aber scheinbar nicht. Lass mich raten, diese Tür ist auch zu. Ja, natürlich.
You must go see your captain right away. She is waiting for you at the barracks. I will be happy to talk about your progress later, but I don't want you to get a penalty early on in your integration.
Goodbye, Sean.
Goodbye, Zach. Be careful.
Zachariah, a pleasure as always. What may I do for you?
What can there be at this excavation site?
For us, now, having not been there? We could only speculate. But, should those rumors hold true, there are relics to be had. With those relics comes priceless information. Information important enough for them to transport Technomancers in droves to the middle of the desert. It makes you wonder. Have they uncovered traces of the colonists' legendary beacon? If you believe the tales, it could resurrect communication with Earth. For 2 centuries, Technomancers have scoured this planet for this beacon. And for 2 centuries, this beacon has eluded us.
What do we know about these itinerant merchants?
They are unbound by loyalties, flitting from corporation to corporation. Beyond that, I know little more than myths and legends, often difficult to unravel from the truth, like the tales of hidden mountainside villages stashed with their wealth. Never have I encountered another group that despises and envies in such equal proportions, impugned for lack of loyalty or origin to our superior culture, but regarded for the freedom that comes with that. In truth, though, for me it is the information they trade in that bears their greatest source of worth, far more than the trinkets they hawk.
And why, if I may ask, are these relics so important?
Each relic is a breadcrumb that could lead us back to their bygone, yet far more advanced era. We are little more than feral offspring to a once illustrious time filled with scientific and artistic knowledge long since been lost to us. A cultural de-evolution of catastrophic proportions. The value of these relics cannot be overstated. A simple fragment could mean strides forward in knowledge, leaps forward in time, and in the wrong hands, the extinction of our kind.
So, Person haben wir auch noch.
What do you think of our army?
A question requiring a delicate response indeed. For we are a part of that body. An integral part, perhaps. A vital organ, but still just a part. As such, one may not talk about the whole without impugning the parts, which in truth, I am not wont to do. But with that spoken, it is very old. On one hand, good, well-established, the best equipment, disciplined troops, professional. But on the other hand, set in its ways, a double-edged sword indeed. For inflexibility is merely a step from paralysis, an iteration of the old dog's new tricks scenario. And with ranks practically inherited, there hardly exists a culture that encourages hard work or passion among the troops. Why work towards something that's unachievable? And of course, it's less than ideal that there are far too few of our kind among the ranks. Next to Aurora, we're surprisingly deprived in that field. And they're in the process of collecting the laurels of their politics right now.
Hey, was war denn
What do
da?
you think of our army?
Nein, das hatte ich noch.
But with that spoken, for inflexibility next to Aurora.
Ach, hier ist aber ein Straighter. Hey, aber warum hier?
What can you share about us, Technomancers?
We are, as you have learned, mutants, Zachariah. But while other mutations form the poor, deformed creatures that we use like commodities, ours has produced within us gifts. Whether this knowledge is shared among the Technomancers of Aurora, I know not. We are all still learning about ourselves, with knowledge segregated from faction to faction, corporation to corporation. Even Aurora conducts experiments that would be of interest to us. We whose gifts have turned us into living weapons. And despite our strengths, despite our role as guardians of knowledge, the last link to the Earth's past, the sole reason the corporations have not yet collapsed, our instability has ensured that any seat of power remains elusive to our kind. But never forget, no matter what our enemies, even those inside Abundance, may think or espouse, they need us. It is not the other way around. We are our own masters, never slaves.
Do you have any insight on Alan Mancer?
Zachariah, listen closely. As much as my heart yearns to spurt vitriol at his name, discretion is the better part of valor. Speak neither ill of the dead nor of those who could make you so. That man is filled with more blind aspiration than sense, easily manipulated by those who know how to flatter him. He would give up everything for the slightest bit of praise. He is the antithesis of you. While you ascended, his weaknesses have kept him from initiation, and he holds it against you. But do not get sucked into his petty games. He is adult, worthy of less attention than contempt.
Okay. So, das ESC haben wir noch.
What can you tell me about the ASC?
There is nothing to learn, officially, because no one talks about them out of fear. Speak of the devil and he shall appear and all. Silly superstition. But fear drives men as much as serum, I suppose. The true source of their power ultimately stems from their surveillance services. And with the war comes near limitless authorities in such matters. More often than not, authorities are aimed at their own dissenters rather than any deeply tangible threat to our great Mother Abundance. At their core, they are quite simply the most mortal of threats to us. So I would advise you, stay in line, do as you are told, and attract little attention, for it is now a perilous game of survival.
Do you have any wisdom you can share regarding Colonel Victor?
Wisdom or warning? He is a dangerously smart man with an insatiable hunger for power, an unending drive to have us in his pockets. A chess master, I fear, with just enough savvy to find a way to do it too. Someday.
Gut, dann sind wir hiermit auch durch und noch die Orte.
What can you share with me about the source?
The center of all Abundance's power in Ophir, each building a symbol of its proper function, with the source set directly upon an ancient colonist dome that provided the vast bulk of our collection. Fascinating, is it not? Even if vestiges are all that remains of the old dome. To think that there was once a man, exactly where we settled, who had seen Earth with his own eyes, perhaps touched it with his own hands.
What do you know about my barracks?
A perfectly inelegant mix of testosterone and bachelorism. What could I add that you do not know for yourself firsthand? Poor food, worse quarters, but it serves its purpose. Barracks for the source, no more, no less.
What can you tell me about the exchange quarter?
A melting pot for sure, forging an amalgam of cultures, commodities, and peoples, filled with merchants hawking equal shares of wares and information with such freedom that it gives the impression that it is unburdened by the scrutiny and heavy hand of Abundance's surveillance. An impression that is, in a word, faulty.
Okay, irgendwie stand eben kurz da, dass es gleich Nacht wird und sich dadurch irgendwie was ändert und wir können halt, wenn wir schlafen oder uns in unser Zimmer begeben, quasi die Zeit dann laufen lassen. Das ist so ein Tag-Nacht-Wechsel scheinbar. Das ist interessant.
What do you know about the underworks?
Little more than common knowledge. Kilometers of tunnels lined with endless rows of warehouses storing who knows what for who knows whom. forged in part by man, in part by nature, and in part by the creatures that dwell within them as they extend all the way out to the ancient waterways.
That dome we went to with Master Shan, where did it come from?
A relic of the first colonists, long forgotten until after the turmoil, discovered upon the building of Ophir's first shadow path, and finally opened as a place of knowledge by one of our own, transformed into a storehouse for knowledge and secret discoveries until its collapse. So much was lost, but you were not. And if nothing else, I have that to be grateful for. For it is now we need fresh blood more than anything.
Gut, dann sind wir hiermit durch. Ich glaube, Aurora, von dem jetzt mal wieder gesprochen wurde, das war quasi das Land, in dem wir im ersten Teil gespielt haben. Woher sehe ich hier eigentlich, ob das Nacht wird? Das sieht ja auch aus wie so eine riesige, überbaute Anlage. Gott, oh Gott, oh Gott. Hallo. Okay, da ist ein Tor, wo nicht...
Can't go through here.
Alter, du kannst nicht ranspringen, ey. Oh. Wahrscheinlich muss ich von dort erst die Leiter runterlassen oder so. Mit den normalen Passanten können wir nicht sprechen, so wie es aussieht. Nö. Hallo Bruder. Okay. Lieber mal Waffe wegstecken, wer weiß, was das hier provoziert. Cool sieht das ja hier schon aus. Hier kommen wir bestimmt jetzt ja gerade nicht rein. Aber vielleicht später bei einer Mission. Okay. Wir müssen jetzt nach geradeaus und dann nach rechts, dann wären wir schon fast beim Händler. Ach ja, stimmt ja. Das ist eigentlich ganz cool. Erinnert mich so ein bisschen ans erste Diablo.
Great Master said the caravan would be right here. The stand looks like it's been deserted. I'll question neighboring merchants.
Oh, was haben wir hier? Yeah. Guten Tag.
Mr. Mancer, it's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Big on weaponry, I hope? What can I get you?
I was expecting a caravan in the stall next door to buy a few things.
They arrived yesterday, but truth be told, I think they found some trouble. I wasn't there when it happened, but from what I heard, some people were looking to talk. Then talking turned to shouting, and after that, they were seen down in the slums. I hear, and then they were dragged into some warehouse. Whatever they did, they're in big trouble now. If you're looking to help them, you better find them fast.
Okay. Wie haben wir denn... Oh, wir haben noch genug Lagerplatz. Erstmal. In den Slums. Das ist... Wo sollen wir da jetzt hin? Ah, hier. Das liegt hier alles jetzt so rum. Könnte ich theoretisch mitnehmen. Hä? Hä? Was soll hier sein? Oder müsste ich theoretisch jetzt bis zum Tag warten, weil ich damit zweimal Goodsman? Weil ich damit noch irgendwie talken könnte.
See the Technomancer?
Shh, they're unstable. Anything can set them off. Let's talk about something else.
Okay, okay. We never see him around these parts.
Hello?
Hello. Looking for some medicine? Drugs? Ingredients, maybe?
Can you help me? I'm looking for any information on the caravan that sets up in the stall over there.
I don't know. My memory sometimes needs incentive to remember.
Serum geben. 10 von 34. Na, toll. 50-50 Chance.
How's this for a memory booster?
Oh my. Perfect. What, do you want a gift wrapped? What I'm about to tell you could get me killed. You've heard the tale of the Vori, of the underworld. So these overpriced foreign merchants did something to piss them off. Didn't pay their rite of passage or protection serum or something. Whatever the hell it was. They were kidnapped, that's all I know. Where they are, or even if they're still alive, I haven't the damnedest clue. For that, you'll have to ask the Vori. Now do Joe a favor. Take this herb and get the hell out before you raise suspicions.
Verhandeln. Okay, ich habe jetzt scheinbar 2 Wege, um an die Slums zu gehen. Können wir jetzt eigentlich hier noch schnell irgendwie Serum uns noch herstellen? Oh ja. Schade, dass das keine Erfahrung bringt. Du bist müde. Okay, woran erkenne ich das allgemein? Mit Ende der... Wir haben ja nirgendwo eine Sanduhr. Schlafen, da, okay. Dann gehen wir halt jetzt erstmal schlafen.
Our army's not doing so hot. Don't know if our generals are old or our soldiers soft. But we've been on the losing side a lot lately. Stop your gossip. Our army's the finest on Mars. So they've run into a little bad luck here and there. That was bound to happen. Besides, our enemies have no shame and never fight fair. You get to say that because you're from the Ward family. No, it's because I've heard that Aurora even sends their children into battle. Does that sound fair to you?
Nun gut, dann geht's hier in der nächsten Folge weiter. Spitze bedanke mich. Bis dann.